You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Decisions.
Wait a minute. Are you still looking for cars on Carvana?
Yeah, decisions.
When I used Carvana, I found the exact car I was looking for in minutes. Bought it on the spot.
Electric or full diesel? Decisions.
Come on, you've been at it for weeks. Just buy it already.
You're right. Crossover it is. Decisions decided.
Whether you know exactly what you want or like to take your time, buy your car the convenient way with Carvana.
There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Lebitard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
What is going on with Sirianni and Jalen Hurts? Are they going to work this out, or?
I don't know. Look, everyone up to this point knows what's been going on there in the offseason and even after last year as they fell off that cliff, losing those 10 games. They worked on that relationship in the offseason. That was something that was a priority of just finding ways to connect. They're two very different people. And Kellen Moore has been, from what I was told, a little bit of a gift because he has a really good way of connecting with Jalen and he's in charge of this offense. But it just feels like the things that are important that a CEO should be doing, which is what Nick Sirianni is now, right? They had an option last year to move on from him. Howie Roseman decided to stick with him. Ownership decided to stick with him in hopes that he can oversee it because he's built some good things. Nick Sirianni is not a bad coach. It's just right now, this team looks like they're operating the way we all did during COVID. It was like, it's almost like they're all on remote. And they're not unified. And I think that's really where you're seeing the problems. They play their butts off in New Orleans and they're not even able to use that as a way to find some momentum here. And they show up against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, and they look like they had nothing, as if they hadn't played. I had a coach the other day text me. He's like, I'm going through a lot of this film this week, and this looks like the preseason. September looked like preseason football for a lot of teams.
When we get away from the gloom and look at the good stuff, what's better in the league right now than Jayden Daniels' instant impact and that incredible, so far, Washington offense?
This summer, Cliff Kingsbury came on Scoop City, and I asked one of those throwaway questions, and I know you guys have done them a million times, where you ask it because you just feel like you need to ask it, and I appreciated his answer. My question was, hey, you're not a head coach anymore, you're a play caller now. Like, what's that like for you? He's like, I love it. I don't want to do all of that. And so I do think that's been really important for Cliff's journey here is he can just focus on the offense. And we're seeing pretty extreme results with a super talented quarterback that a lot of people are now coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, we had him ranked #1 overall. And I know we've talked about it on the show before that I've had conversations in the offseason right before the draft where I did find people that had Jayden ahead of Caleb. It doesn't mean that they're both, that one's better than the other. Right now, one is better than the other. But I still have tons of confidence in Caleb. But in terms of Cliff, the fact that he's found the perfect match, and we're seeing aspects of what he did with Kyler Murray in this offense, and we're seeing them just do the simple things, guys, which is give the player stuff they're good at, right? Whew, not that hard. But it is, because we've seen so many organizations try to force a type of offense and a structure to a player when Washington's going, okay, this guy can process information at a ridiculously high level, and he's comfortable doing this, this, and this. Let's pull it from LSU. Let's mix it with some of the stuff Clift can do well, and voila. Look at what we have. We have the greatest story in Washington since Robert Griffin III's rookie year.
Dianna, the Chiefs have lost Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, even though there's some ambiguity surrounding the knee injury, though it looks bad. Pacheco's out. That's a lot of explosive players that they're missing. What are their options via free agency and trade? Because I don't know too much about their cap situation. I know that they got some pretty big contracts on the books already.
Yeah, so they're definitely having conversations about making some moves before the trade deadline. We'll see if they'll actually do it. We've seen the last 2 years they made moves, right? We saw Kadarius Toney 2 years ago. Last year, Mecole Hardman returned from the Jets back to Kansas City. So they've been, we'll call it aggressive, right? And they went to the Super Bowl both years with making those trades and giving Patrick some help. But, over the summer when Mahomes and I were just reflecting on the success they had last year, he kept pointing to the defense being the reason why they won last year. And he's obviously right. And yet here we are again, where they're 4-0, and it's the defense. And I remember him saying pretty emphatically that they know that they can't do it again. They can't have a three-peat just relying on the defense. The offense has to be better. It's also somebody that's the quarterback and takes pride in what they can be. So, look, I think they're going to do the work. I think the names you're hearing right now are all fair. I don't know if any of them are realistic at this moment, right? So you're hearing the Browns, Amari Cooper. The reason why that name comes up
minor
is
penalty, 2 minutes for Chiefs talk.
I didn't do anything. You whispered Spags in my ear. You're not allowed to talk. You whispered Spags in my ear. You're not allowed to talk Chiefs. I'm sorry, Dianna.
What are the names? What are the names that you're hearing linked to Kansas City? What are the possible solutions?
I wish I missed that whole thing. My computer jumboed all this down, so I missed whatever Stugotz just did to distract me. So the names that are being we'll call it chatted about at this point, right? So I mentioned Amari Cooper because Amari Cooper's name came up during that Brandon Ayuk trade opportunity that the Browns were involved in with San Francisco, right? So Amari's contract also makes it really easy for him to move to Kansas City. I just don't know if Amari Cooper's the type of wide receiver right now that fits. I don't know if that answers anything. We're going to hear about Devontae Adams all the way up to the trade deadline. We just are. He can tell us a million times they're not doing it. We can hear from the building that they're not doing it. But I think it's something that we got to keep an eye on. And then there's some out of the box type ideas that people have had of, George Pickens in Pittsburgh. He could step right into this offense. And I'm sure Steve Spagnuolo would love it. And Stugotz would be psyched too. So what is it about Spags that Stu loves so much?
Just that he got
has
a
his phone
nickname.
number.
He's got a nickname that is Spags.
Yeah.
Dianna, I had an idea that I want to run by you that I was thinking about this weekend, and it's a result of Baker Mayfield kind of saying that he came in and that he was here to loosen things up and that people hated how serious Tom Brady was, and then Tom Brady came in and then got very defensive on the broadcast. I want all of the quarterbacks that Tom Brady is calling their games just to take little shots at him before the game and just make little comments to see how irritable we can get Tom Brady. Because he's proven everything to everyone, right? It shouldn't bother him what Baker Mayfield thinks about him, but for some reason it does. So I kind of want to see how far the current quarterbacks can push him with little comments.
Yeah. Here's the thing with that. Any person I've spoken to over the years or covered or, you run into at Super Bowl parties and you had that conversation of the New England way during those successful seasons. The answer Tom Brady gave is the answer you get from everyone in New England. It's you want to know what fun is? Disney's fun. And the thing is, I get it. They're right. That is fun. Winning is fun. But I think there's also examples of where, you may be winning, but that journey isn't a great ride either. It feels good at the end, but getting there is painful. And I think a lot of players like Baker Mayfield, in their mind, think that they can still accomplish this at a high level, but also make this enjoyable and not have it be so hard. But I like that Tom was willing to do that, because the Brady we've seen on the broadcast just seemed a little too buttoned up for my taste. I actually think he's going to be really good. But I was pumped. I'm let's do this. Let's keep the petty going. More of it. I'm with you. I think every quarterback that we see for the next few weeks with Tom Brady, that quarterback should start the narrative during the week and have Tom give a rebuttal.
Have you done Disney with your kids yet?
No, I don't want to do it. I heard it's horrible.
It sucks. It sucks.
Worst.
Disney's fun, but at like a young age, not the best.
Yeah, exhausting.
So I didn't know this, and my really good friend Jeff Darlington was there last year, and I sent in this long text because I'd seen the pictures from his wife's Instagram that they were there, and I was like, "Hey, like I'm just having a moment right now, just watching you with the kids. Like, I got to do a better job with mine. I got to, experience more stuff. They're not doing enough." He wrote back, "This has been the worst week of my life. Whatever you think is fun here is horrible. Don't do Disney. Don't ever come here. I don't care how many free passes you can get. Don't come here." So it was such a great little lesson for me in the moment of, hey, don't just look at the pictures. But Billy, can you just help me understand what is it about Disney that people say is so hard with kids? To me, I just feel like the joy in my kid's face would take over, and I wouldn't care so much about the other stuff. What is it?
Well, that's the thing, right? You're basically doing it just for the pictures the Darlingtons put up, right? So that when your kids are older, you can say, "See, we did love you. We did take you to Disney World." But while you're in it, did you like Disney going yourself ever or no?
So my parents waited until I was 11 to go. So I enjoyed it because I was a preteen. I understood. Is 11 preteen?
But did you ever do did around the world or anything like that?
Of course
you ever
it
go
is.
with your
Anything
friends?
before 13 is preteen.
Even 12?
I just felt like that was very much like trying to sound like I was advanced or something. I wasn't. It took me 15 years to get a bra anyway. Well, more like 20. But yeah, so I did Epcot with ESPN at the Pro Bowl. So it was a bunch of us, all of us covering Wendy Nix, the whole NFL Live crew. And they said, "Hey, why don't we do Beers Around the World? We have an easy day tomorrow. This will be great." And I said, "Yeah, obviously." So we're going to all the different countries. And after the second beer, I just start feeling off. And I'm like, maybe that German beer just didn't sit well with me. And so Wendy sees me and she's like, "You look green." And I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, you don't look good." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm hot." It wasn't hot. We had jackets on. So I'm just trying to suck it up though, because I want to be with the team. We're doing this experience. It's fun. I don't want to miss it. It's Florida. So somebody has this idea of, let's take a photo. Let's take a picture, a big group picture. And that feeling when it's about to come up, and you just need to get at it. You just need to get out of the situation. So I had my arms around, I think it was probably Ryan Clark. I don't even know who it was, whoever was working that week. And I just felt it come up. So there is a photo somewhere out there on someone's phone of me vomiting during this ESPN teen picture.
On Wendy Nix.
And here's the worst part about this. And this just goes to show you I FOMO really bad. I didn't want to go home. And I got a text from somebody in Taylor Lewan's camp at the time and was like, "Hey, we have a extra pass for Universal Studios. So at the Pro Bowl, the players and their families, the park shuts down for them. So they get to just go on the rides a million times without the public. So if you can get a ticket to do that's a once in a lifetime experience for someone like me." So I'm like, I don't care if I just threw up. I'll rebound. I'll do this. So I get there and I see Taylor and Will Compton. And at the time they were with the Titans and I covered them all the time. So it was just fun to be around them and their wives. And they're like, "You want to go on the Hulk with us?"
No,
I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. I love roller coasters." I threw up 20 minutes before that. Well, what do you think happened? I went up on the Hulk. As we do 2 loop-de-loops, all over Taylor Lewan, all over Will Compton, everywhere. And to this day, as much as I've covered them and done interviews with them, and I like to think I've grown since that moment, that I'm just the chick that puked on them.
Lucy, look at how disgusted. Lucy's about to throw up in her own hand because of what she just felt there.
Girl, that's your own fault. Why would you go on a roller coaster if you just threw up?
Right, that roller coaster. Yes.
I know. You think I would just be like, "Hey, I'll just hang, and just go walk around with you guys, not actually get on." There was something in my head that night. I just remember thinking, I can beat this. I can beat this stomach virus. I did not beat the stomach virus.
Dianna, send us that photo, please, so that we can, wherever that photo is of you green or you throwing up, please send it to us.
I got to tell you, it was one of the worst, 24 hours. And I was just dating my husband at the time. And I remember calling him when I got back and I was on the bathroom floor. And I'm like, I'm not going to make it. I meet another girl. Good luck.
She's the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. Gets so close to the games that she throws up on the players. I think that's a good slogan for Scoop City. Thank you, Dianna. Good seeing you.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Hey, folks, it's Mike Ryan, and as you know, it is football season. We all love it. We like going to the games, too. Well, if you like going to the games like I do, if you like traveling for football games, both pro and college, do yourself a favor and download the Game Time app. Game Time has a new exciting feature called Game Time Picks, and it makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Do it for yourself. Pick an upcoming game on the app, browse through the seats. I guarantee you'll find great deals, you'll find panoramic seat views, you'll find all-in pricing with just one click. That way you're not surprised by the final price, and also you get Game Time's ticket coverage and the low price guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Don Le Batard.
Witty, we have a photo right here. If you can see in this photo with my daughter there, I'm pointing exactly to the point on the Stanley Cup where it says, "You suck ass."
Stugotz.
Wow. Right there.
They engraved
it.
Really?
They got that
engraved?
Yeah, they got it engraved right there. It says, "Chris Whittingham sucks ass."
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Greg Cody Tuesday rolls on here, and we're always very excited to have him on a Tuesday. But after the Dolphins put that effort up, even though Billy is questioning the effort, and I understand, man, when it looks that bad against that bad of a football team, I understand.
Just saying, if Lombardi was on the line, you know what I mean? Like that, that fourth quarter probably would have looked a little different.
Yeah,
they couldn't
you disagree
do anything.
with that?
They couldn't do anything against fourth down. Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard spent the whole game. They're a good. They are a good run block team. And the idea that you guys are saying this is quite the discovery to make, is it not, on Monday Night Television, where you guys are coming in and saying, "Man, they look small and finesse," and the announcers are saying they built this team all wrong. They built it from the outside in. You got to, in a violent physical sport, you got to build it from the inside out. You do understand that what we were watching last night, one of the reasons the anger is elevated is because what swept over the entire Dolphin fan base was, oh no, we've built it all wrong. Like, you understand that's what's happening, right? It's not just that it's, oh, they look terrible and they're 4 games in. It's, no, they built it all wrong. They need the savior to be the guy who's visiting the neurologist when you knew he'd be visiting the neurologist. Like, he's the most likely guy to be visiting the neurologist, and if you don't have him, oh my God, look at what Tyreek Hill looks like. Like, it's built all wrong. I don't believe that that's an overreaction to say that. No team can withstand injuries like this, okay? But for the last 2 seasons, their injuries have totally undone their seasons when Kansas City's injuries have not undone their seasons. Kansas City's got plenty of injuries and is still 4-0.
They have a different quarterback, and they have Spags. 2 minutes?
You're also not supposed to be made look incompetent by Mason Rudolph.
That's correct.
So sexy he looked last night.
Well, look. Building from the inside out is a lot tougher when you spend what they spent on Tyreek Hill and are saving enough money to lavish Tua with a huge contract. And that's why they couldn't re-sign Christian Wilkins, and that's why they couldn't re-sign 2 offensive starting linemen. You know, that fundamentally they lost 3 huge pieces from their offensive and defensive lines because they couldn't afford them.
Talk me off of this, okay? Because I'm the one that's always saying, Stugotz, there's a hyperventilation and an overreaction to everything of the moment that happens in the NFL. But what I'm telling you is that what I'm watching last night, when you lose to that at home that way, every game in that league is close. When you lose that way to a terrible team and its backup quarterback, I come away with the seismic reaction of, this is flawed. Like, that couldn't win a playoff game when they had the window of, oh, they've got the quarterback cheap. when that couldn't win a playoff game, and it wasn't a piece away when they had value at quarterback, which is the best thing to have in the entire sport.
Well, it's more than just Tua, and it's more than just Tyreek as well, right? They also paid Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Waddle hasn't really done much of anything this season. So
it's paid Jalen Ramsey, too.
It's how they spent the money that they spent. If the people that they've paid are not delivering, be it because of injury or be it because of just lack of production scheme, whatever you want to call it, the money's wasted at this point.
4 weeks of this gets everybody fired.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, mark my words right now. Mark your calendars. Mark whatever you got to mark.
Mm-hmm.
Big bounce back this week in New England. I'm telling you, Dolphins are going to put up like 30 points.
And why would that surprise anyone? Seriously, they're playing the Patriots. Like, you guys are giving up on the Dolphins. That's weird. They're 1-3 in a division where the leader is 3-1. The Jets are 2-2. The Patriots are an awful football team.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to give up on the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel yet. That's absurd.
You could have said that last night about the Titans. 0-3. This is you have your backup quarterback, but you're playing the Titans.
No, everybody knew they were going to lose that game yesterday.
The Patriots seems the same way. I don't know how you look differently at the Patriots and the Titans.
I will say again, 0-3 team with its backup quarterback beating you that way at home when you're in a desperate situation, like, that's alarming. It's not just a loss. It's not just this is the NFL. It swings from week to week. It's like, oh, no, that's not in any way competent. That's not a competent thing that's out there, because who they were playing, Stugotz, truly terrible, and it's their backup quarterback.
I wrote in my column, if you can't beat this team under these circumstances at home, who can you beat? I mean, there is that gloom right now with the franchise. Having said that, I do think there's a gross overreaction going on. And I think the worst of that overreaction is that, they're built all wrong. Keep in mind, this is a team that was 9-3 last season. They have the most dynamic offense in the league. It seemed different. It seemed like their best team in 20 years, and then it all collapsed. That's what's debilitating. That's what's dispiriting right now, is that from that point, their last 8 games, something has changed with this team.
Getting pounded. I think there's plenty of reason for despair. They haven't led. We're not. This is not a small sample. They eked out an okay half against a terrible Jacksonville Jaguars team.
An 0-4 team.
Yeah, they haven't led all season. Like, we're a quarter of the way into your football season, and you haven't seen this offense.
You've played 3 home games.
Lead. I think there's plenty of reason for despair. I actually think you're probably being way too rational right now.
I have a stat here, if you guys would like it, that this is like room for hope. Like,
is it a stat of the day?
Possibly, yeah. Sure. Yeah, we can make it a stat of the day.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Today's stat of the day is brought to you by Venmo.
All right, so everybody's freaking out about this situation, what's going to happen, doom and gloom, this and that, right? The Dolphins have never lost a football game the same week that the Jets and Vikings have played each other in London.
Not a great stat.
I feel better.
I don't feel like our sponsor got its money's worth there. Let me see if I can do this better. I'm going to try and do this better. Give me the stat of the day music again. I got a different stat of the day. You tell me whether this is any better or not.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
This stat of the day is brought to you by Venmo.
Stugotz just said, as I was setting it up, I like Billy's better. And I'm like, I haven't even gotten to mine yet, which I assume you will like better just because it embarrasses me. I would assume that this stat of the day is something that you will prefer over Billy's stinky stat of the day.
Okay, we'll see.
Lucy, did you feel like the segment that we did yesterday with the old-timey Mets players from the 1962 Mets, did you feel like that was cute?
I wasn't here for that.
Okay,
So I don't really feel any particular way. But if you want, I can say it was cute.
No, that's okay.
It was so cute. It was so cute.
No,
it was fun. So adorable.
You were late yesterday.
Very mindful, very demure.
No. So anyway, I was so intent on that stat, on doing that bit for a month. We had, Greg, we had the...
I loved it. It was so cute.
1962 Mets, a couple of the surviving members. Yeah. We had them come on to toast. It was not Ed Kranepool, no. We had them on to toast the fact that they were no longer the worst team in baseball history, that the White Sox were now the worst team in baseball history. Unfortunately, because I didn't pay attention to sports at all over the weekend and I had this bit lined up for a month, I didn't realize that the White Sox had ended up winning 5 of their last 6 games, and the stat was incorrect, that the Mets aren't actually off the hook here. The White Sox lost more games this season, 121, but they also won more games this season, which gives them a better winning percentage than the 1962 Mets.
They got hot at the right time.
Yes. I can't believe we got that wrong, and no one fact-checked me, and we're sitting here champagne toasting with old Mets when we just got the stat wrong. They didn't. That's correct. We just talked to a couple of old guys who were still the biggest losers in the history of the sport.
I have some unfortunate news for you, Greg. We lost Ed Kranepool September 8th of this year.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
It's a big fine.
It just happened.
Just happened,
Oh, my
Had we
gosh.
gotten to the segment sooner, maybe we could have talked
I
to Ed
apologize
Kranepool.
to Ed's family.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Here is another addendum, though, to why it is that what we did yesterday was that with the Mets was all wrong. Technically, the Mets were never the worst team in the history of Major League Baseball to begin with, because the 1916 Philadelphia Athletics lost 117 times and 153 tries. That's a 23.5 winning percentage. That's worse than the Mets. And the 1899 Cleveland Spiders still officially hold the Major League record for both losses and winning percentage with a record of 20 and 134, including a 27 game losing streak.
I have a segment if you guys would like to try it, if you want to get back to Dolphins. If not, we don't have to do it.
Well, Lucy wanted to say something about the stat of the day, I
have
think.
a stat. Can I do a stat of the day?
Wow, a third stat of the day.
Can I do
wow,
one?
amazing.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
I like Billy's.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
This stat of the day is brought to you by Venmo.
So there's this graphic going around on Twitter of the most obscure team that every college football team has played in their school's history. And in 1992, not 1892, in 1992, UCF played an exhibition game against Russia. Wow. Western Kentucky also played Russia that
Damn it,
year.
she wins.
Wow. The Hilltoppers.
I heard the Western Kentucky-Russia one went well because they just had the Russian, like the Moscow football team stay with the Western Kentucky players. Yeah. So they all just hung out, had a good time, and that they didn't speak the same language, except they spoke the same language of football.
How about that?
I feel that 1992 to Lucy is like 1899 to the rest of us. That she's thinking about sometime like, how did they play Russia? And I'm still at the Rat at the University of Miami in college while this is happening.
The Rat.
But like the other ones are like in 1903, Iowa State played the Omaha Light Guards. 1992 feels really recently to just randomly play an exhibition against Russia.
Who's Miami's oddest opponent?
Miami's oddest one was Havana University, I believe.
Fun.
Really?
I got a scouting report on the Russian football team. I heard they were especially good at rushing. Is that true?
I dig it. I dig it. Hey, where's Jeremy?
He disappeared.
Really?
He disappeared as soon as UCF lost by 1,000,000 points to Deion Sanders. Put these on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. If it happened in 1899, did it actually happen? And do you remember a college football game within the last 30 years played against Russia? Because I don't have any recollection of that, and it's when I was paying attention to football and college football in college.
Do you think the two poor Mets that we had on yesterday are confused? Like, should we check in with them? Yeah, I mean, we celebrated something we should not have celebrated. We drank champagne with them. They have to be confused. They were confused as to why they were on. I mean, they were confused by Zoom.
I know. I thought about that, too. Why didn't they correct you?
I know.
Anyway, one more note about that Russian football team. When they're forced to punt the ball, they refer to it as Putin the ball.
That's good. I like that, too.
Yeah. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
TD, Tutty, in for 6. Touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We don't care how they score them, we just want to bet on touchdown. And DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Don Le Batard.
Is there back in my day?
There is, actually.
What? Were you not going to tell anyone?
What?
Wait a minute.
You guys, it's a Tuesday.
Stugotz. Here's your guy, Greg Cody, with Back in My Day.
Okay, here it is. Sorry. Adultery.
We are back.
That is waiting for this one.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
This was a good Moscow Bears football team. They were when they faced UCF, they were the defending champion of the Russian National League of American Football. That's serious. That's better than the ACC at this point.
Mike Ryan, I could not tell when you were whispering there whether you were doing it in my ear or on air when you said that Stephen A. has found something.
I was trying to alert you, and just your eyes to First Take right now, as Stephen A. has found his angle coming off of last night's Monday Night Football game. Stephen A. Smith says Tyreek Hill leaving Patrick Mahomes could go down as the biggest mistake ever.
Oh, wow. Not in sports, just ever?
Ever. I would have.
That covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, I would venture to say maybe artificial intelligence. Who knows?
Time will tell.
Time will tell on that one.
How about the mistake we made yesterday with the Mets?
That's up there. So just to be clear, Tyreek Hill left Patrick Mahomes, and Kansas City did go on to win back-to-back Super Bowls, no doubt.
Yeah.
But Tyreek Hill left, got paid more money by leaving, and also was named the best player in the NFL by his peers.
Right. After almost catching an historic 2,000 yards worth of passes just last year.
That leads us right up to the game that I said I wanted to play with you guys if you want to play it. It's a little game we like to call What If.
Oh, yes.
Well, I tell me which game you like better. I suspect
like
it'll
What
be
If.
Billy's, Stugotz. You tell me.
It's Billy's.
I also have a stat of the day if you want. In 1904, the banana split was invented.
I'll hear you out in your game. Now go ahead.
I just would like to explore with the group some nominations for what is the biggest mistake ever. Like if we were to take, but we'll play What If instead if you guys want to play What If. But if he's saying it's the biggest mistake ever, I do think we can have some fun wondering about what would you nominate as a first ballot Hall of Famer consensus. People would agree, yep, that was the biggest mistake ever.
Fully guaranteed contract for Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
It's a good one.
Well, if you want to do sports and not sports, I think that game could even be more fun if it's biggest ever in sports.
What's more important than sports?
I mean, trading Babe Ruth is viewed as something that is among
Miguel Cabrera.
It can now be Ohtani, letting Ohtani go in free agency. But Billy, let's play What If you want to play What If.
All right, so here's how What If works.
Chernobyl was bad.
We mentioned earlier that maybe the Dolphins could be in a position to make some trades here, and Tyreek Hill's name came up.
Right back to Kansas City.
Now, hold on. Now, look around the league. What could be a potential fit? What's that? Oh, Kansas City just had an injury to one of its most important wide receiver, Rashee Rice. I wonder if that could be a fit. What if the Dolphins traded Tyreek Hill right back to Kansas City? Dan?
So what do we do with that? Just hypotheticals?
What if?
The game is just,
do the Dolphins get Rashee Rice and then we get him when he comes back?
Well, now I say, what if the Dolphins, and then you could go in a number of directions. I'm not going to tell you how to answer, but you can go in a number of directions. You can talk about cap implications,
right,
should you know those off the top of your head, or you could talk about, well, what package would the Dolphins receive to trade Tyreek Hill back to Kansas City? And then there's another branch that you can go down, which is, well, hold on a second. Some people have said, and I don't know who, I think you were credited with this. Some people have said something looked off in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill comes back. Do things look back on?
The problem with this rotting tree of branches that you have is that because we don't have salary cap experts among us,
don't go down that branch.
Right. If the Chiefs couldn't afford Tyreek Hill before, what makes you think they can afford him now that he's more
TV
expensive?
contracts, yeah.
Semantics. Just what if?
It's not semantics.
No, it's semantics.
It is.
And then whenever anyone asks you anything about like salary cap implications that you don't understand, just say, oh, the new TV deal. And then no one really knows what it is, and then it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
But what if you want the game to sound actually informed as opposed to just babbling hypotheticals on the air that you don't know anything about?
I just always say money's not real.
Boom.
You can't fight that.
What if the entire NFL said, I'm not picking up Tyreek's contract. He's 30 years old. He's stuck.
What if we print more money?
Wow. What if?
What if?
You get it.
I feel like the biggest mistake ever would be a better game, but that's also got a flaw in it in that somebody yells Chernobyl and now you can't have a lot of fun with it.
It's Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I dyed my hair blonde. That was a big mistake.
Really?
Did not look very good.
Drunk Family Feud for me.
Oh.
The Chiefs have $4 million in cap space, and presently Tyreek Hill's cap hit is at $18.2 million.
Yeah. But also,
so I'll keep crunching.
Money isn't real, and safety's an illusion. We've learned a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's early. It's early in the show, so it feels
what if?
good. Yes. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate the game. I don't think it's as good as the game that I'm playing just because the game you're playing is just sports radio since the beginning of time. It's just, hey, say
Tried and
things.
true.
Yeah, just
But honestly, biting that apple after God told you not to.
Yeah.
I mean, the writing was on the wall. It was literally, you can do anything you want except the one thing.
Forbidden fruit.
Mm-hmm. Garden of Eden.
Dan, the problem with you is you focus on whether or not it's actually going to happen. We're just asking you what if it happens.
What if it does?
That's the problem.
It's not our job to figure out how to make it happen. It's what if it does.
Yeah,
happen.
it's just hypotheticals, but you're playing hypotheticals and you're doing so with no information. That's problematic.
I literally told you to print more money.
Yeah,
it
thank
doesn't.
you.
I don't understand where the disconnect here is.
Blimps filled with highly flammable gas.
If if
completely
you
avoidable.
print more money, you still have the salary cap. You can print more money.
No.
It's not a problem. It's not that the Chiefs can't go to the bank and actually afford Tyreek Hill.
You print more money
it's against
and then
the rules.
No, you print more money and then you give everybody the money and then everyone has more money to spend and then boom, you got Tyreek Hill.
Is this still what if?
What if we increase the salary cap? Ends up being what the game is, as opposed
TV
to
deal.
What's the biggest mistake ever? Is a better game. It's a better. It's more. It gets people thinking a little bit
hold on.
more.
You were playing What If before, and you were playing it at home. You told us you've been playing games of What If with real estate. What if the world ends? This is where we're going to leave. So, you like What If. You just don't know you like it.
I like it with information, which turns out to also not be accurate.
In a good
given
song.
that there are.
I was thinking about that, by the way, to help you out on that. Denver, a mile high. Global warming, water rises. It's not going to rise a mile. Let's just say it rises 6 feet. You're good. What if?
Leaning so heavily into the multiverse.
You mentioned Stephen A., Mike Ryan, and I learned during the break, and Stugotz and I were giggling about this. Are you guys aware that at one point, Greg Cody, in order to have more gravitas as a writer, went to the Miami Herald and asked about changing his byline to Gregory P. Cody? Like he was thinking about adding an initial to his byline.
It comes with enormous expectations, that name,
does, yeah.
if you're a writer.
Too heavy.
Yes.
It was like a yoke on my shoulder. I went back to Greg. Nobody expects much from a Greg, honestly.
But tell us the story. Seriously, tell us the story about how
that is the story. I floated the idea. I was inspired by S.L. Price.
This is the new
That kind of thing. Once again,
Avatar show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan, and as you know, it is football season. We all love it. We like going to the games too. Well, if you like going to the games like I do, if you like traveling for football games, both pro and college, do yourself a favor and download the Game Time app. Game Time has a new exciting feature called Game Time Picks, and it makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Do it for yourself. Pick an upcoming game on the app, browse through the seats. I guarantee you'll find great deals, you'll find panoramic seat views, you'll find all-in pricing with just one click. That way you're not surprised by the final price, and also you get Game Time's ticket coverage and the low price guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.